This is Erica Lopez
and Ty Dickinson from the University of Oklahoma Weather Lab with your weekly regional forecast starting on Friday, October 20th, 2017.
Much has changed since last week's briefing. In addition to our usual graphics and discussions, we will be examining newly published outlooks for November alone, as well as December and January. In addition, we will be providing the new seasonal drought forecast. As always, thanks for tuning in, and let's get started.
We will begin by talking about the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. A very strong upper air ridge is forecast over the western part of the CONUS, with the highest probabilities of over 90% over Southern California and western Arizona for above normal temperatures. The eastern CONUS favors below normal temperatures due to an upper air ridge and a frontal passage, with the highest probabilities of 70% covering much of Alabama and parts of Georgia and Florida. There's a small region of above normal temperatures found in the northeastern part of the U.S. due to a positive trough axis with the highest probabilities at around 50%.
In the next 8 to 14 days, the western part of the CONUS favors above normal temperatures ahead of a trough axis. The highest probabilities for above normal precipitation can be found in western Arizona with 60%. The rest of the CONUS, extending from the Pacific Northwest to north-central CONUS, also favors above normal temperatures. Taking a look at the region to the southeast, a trough is forecast, enhancing odds for the region for below normal temperatures for between 33 to 40%.
The strong ridge mentioned earlier greatly enhances below normal precipitation probabilities as it prevents storms from developing throughout its vicinity. This is quite evident in the outlook, with probabilities exceeding 50% ranging from the western U.S. into the southeast and a large region of 70% odds throughout the Great Plains. There is a small region of odds tilted towards above normal precip in the northeast ahead of the trough.
Moving to days 8 to 14, the ridge dominates the forecast, especially early in the time frame. In addition, a mean surface high pressure is forecast to form in the south-central U.S., evident in the region of probabilities in 50s throughout Arkansas, Missouri, Tennessee, Kentucky, among others. Precipitation anomalies are forecast to be up to an inch less than average for late October and early November.
Shifting to the current drought monitor now, Arkansas continues to experience dry conditions as the western part of the state is now completely in a D1 drought. Dry conditions are also expanding in northeast Texas and re-expanding on the Edwards Plateau in western Texas. Additionally, short-term drought conditions are becoming more common in central Mississippi and western Alabama, while dry conditions are beginning in parts of Georgia. If we take a look at the seasonal outlook, which is valid through the end of January, drought development is likely throughout the Carolinas, in central Mississippi, and in western and southern Texas. While drought conditions are forecast to persist in northeastern Texas, drought removal is forecast for western Arkansas. At the end of the month, a new monthly outlook for November will be made, so we will have to see what drought is looking like in the more short term.
The CPC just updated their sub-seasonal and seasonal outlooks. Beginning with temperatures for November, conflicting signals from numerous different sources cause uncertainty in the forecast for much of central and eastern part of the CONUS. Some climate modes and models point towards above normal temperatures, while others tilt odds towards below normal. For this reason, equal chances of all three terciles in the forecast. There is confidence, however, in the southwest due to the possible La Nina and northeast coming from the long-term trends. Probabilities reach the 50s for the southwest and into the lower 40s for the northeast for above normal temperatures.
Analyzing the precipitation outlook now, the strongest contributor to the forecast is the forecast for La Nina conditions to develop. Typical La Nina late falls and winters see drier conditions throughout the southern U.S. and enhanced precipitation chances in the northern plains and Midwest, which is evidenced in this outlook. Much of the south has odds slightly tilted towards below normal, while a relatively small region around Montana has odds tilted slightly towards above normal.
Shifting to the seasonal outlook now, the months of November, December, and January are forecast to be above normal in terms of temperature for the majority of the CONUS. Increasing odds of La Nina developing and model agreement and seasonal forecasts are the main contributors to the forecast. If you're curious, some of the conditions that are considered both by forecasters and input into models are atmospheric circulations and sea surface temperatures. Additional 3-month outlooks moving forward have odds continuing to be tilted towards above normal for the southern U.S., but with below normal probabilities creeping into the Pacific Northwest and northern plains, which is consistent with La Nina wintertime conditions.
The November, December, January precipitation outlook is similar to the temperature outlook in that there seems to be good agreement among statistical forecast tools, model output, and long-term trends going into the official forecast. This season outlook portrays a typical La Nina wintertime precipitation outlook with enhanced below normal probabilities throughout the south and a region of above normal probabilities in northern parts of the country. However, future 3-month outlooks do forecast above normal precipitation odds to creep into the Great Lakes regions in addition to the High Plains. Moving forward, the 1-month outlooks will be updated on the last day of October, while the seasonal outlooks will be updated around this time next month.
Once again, this has been your podcast brought to you by the University of Oklahoma Weather Lab, a top academic weather and research program in the United States and partner of the Southern Climate Impacts Planning Program. Watch for your forecast Fridays on the Oklahoma Weather Lab channel on YouTube.